This is Stranded Deep, and we are on Xbox One X, but it does not appear to be enhanced. But for the most part, it does actually look fairly good. It does have a little bit of jaggedy edges along the trees. I will mention that we are super sampling here from a 1080p feed, because the DVR is causing some issues, just so you know. Gameplay-wise, the goal is to scavenge, craft, and survive. Well, those are kind of basically the same things that lead into one another, crafting and then surviving. And then afterwards, you are trying to escape. So it's got some neat elements to it in that regard, because most survival games kind of task you with, also just kind of endlessly surviving. So this one actually has a bit of a focus to what you are trying to do with it. And luckily, since our water is running out, we do have some palm trees to climb and some coconuts to collect, because we need them for water, because that is very important. So yeah, you do kind of have options when you go to start the game. You can choose, to kind of generate the islands a little bit differently, because you can see them over yonder out in the distance. Different little places that you can go to and visit in order to gather additional resources, because there are some limiting factors here on this place. And yeah, definitely some interesting gameplay mechanics available. So we've got the coconut that we collected, and we're going to drop that before we die of dehydration. I've tried recording this 4 times, so I've basically gone through all of the coconuts on my island. But yeah, that's one of the limiting factors of the game, is the water collection and this thing called a lashing, which you need to build. Basically everything requires it for crafting. And you need fibrous leaves, which you get from yucca trees, and you get from small pine trees or palm trees that are growing. But those are in a limited run in regards to the level and the area that you're at. So that kind of forces you to go other places, or kind of waiting for a renewable kind of option. There's the yucca tree. So yeah, I was kind of showing the start of the day last time, but definitely have had some issues getting the recording and stuff going. So we do have a basic shelter here. It's where you're able to sleep, save, and kind of get going on to the next day. We've got day-night cycles. Here is our water still, which has not been collecting water like it's supposed to. So like I mentioned, there are a lot of crafting elements to the game. So we've got a driftwood foundation. You have to monitor everything. So we've got health, food, water. Both have been running out because I've been trying to get this recording going. So yeah, not great. That being said, we do have some rations that we're going to use in this situation that I wanted to take with me on a boating expedition. But you can see how that fills up the bar, and then I'm good to go on food and water for a little bit longer. So there are a number of resources, a number of things that you can craft. There are various tools, and then you can see we got like shelter items, different things that are going to help, like furnaces, and then you unlock more as you build more stuff. And you're actually improving a number of skills as you swim or build or cut and do whatever in the game. Then there's different selections on top of this. We got consumables, there's story-based creation. This is like a few days into the survival aspect of this game. Farming, vehicle kind of play, we got land-based, well, basically all water-based, and we get a little bit of land stuff. And then we got housing. You build foundations and all these different, different types of like wood walls and arches and stuff like that. If you get more involved in the crafting aspect. So the day-night, we're going to try to sleep until we get to day. Well, we probably won't get to day, but we'll get somewhat close-ish to it. And you can kind of see the start of the new day, but it'll still be a little bit dark out. So in the game, I think they do a pretty good job of providing an area that you can kind of explore and survive in and kind of discover things. That being said, I did find that it can be a little bit boring and slow, especially at the start, or really as you're trying to collect resources, because you feel limited and you want to keep crafting, but to craft you need like all of these things in order to be successful. I wish this was daytime because I'd be able to see the fish a little bit better, but they do a really good job of like creating this sort of environment where you can collect fish, and because there's actually like fishing You can go out to here and find these like underwater areas. Again, during the day it's a little bit easier. And you can scavenge for resources like those crates that I have on the beach. You get all kinds of cool gizmos. And you might have to deal with like sharks, and there's like sea turtles, and there's all kinds of cool little things that you can find in the water. So it's sort of a lively environment in that regard, and I think that's kind of neat. So over there was like a luxury sort of like boat that you could go and check out too, and you collect like crates and stuff like that. Keep in mind some aspects might be different based on how you set up your particular start in the game too, right? Looks like I got a little bit sick here, so that's not good. Ew. Yeah. That's not good. So then you have to deal with this stuff, and then there's like that whole medicine aspect of it. So kind of look here. What am I looking for? Not on this one. So there's just like a lot of things you can build, and again, it does have an actual bit of a focus because you can actually, you know, kind of try to escape this area, and I think that aspect is unique. So we probably need some aloe vera, but yeah, it's got some neat things, and I did want to kind of go off to a new island, but I kind of want to wait until it is actually sort of a little bit daytime, so we get the aloe vera on there. Just kind of throwing it down. But yeah, it's got some neat mechanics to it, interesting gameplay. We're also going to grab the food item here so that we can actually keep ourselves fed while we go out and we explore a new place. But you're seeing I have lots of little things that I've collected, and just kind of like a start of it to try out the different mechanics and kind of show off a little bit of everything that is present in here. So we've got our little life raft. I guess we're going to go to that island. Might as well go to any island. Oh, we got to grab this. So yeah, it's got some neat aspects to it. I did find, again, some aspects to be a little bit kind of boring, and some of the mechanical aspects might be a little bit too mechanical for some players, just in regards to little bits of details. Like if you want to get like a crab and cook the crab, you got to kill the crab, you got to skin the crab. Like it's not in-depth kind of crafting things, if that makes sense. But it does have some level of, you know, you gotta actually kind of work on stuff in order to get things going. Gee, am I really beached on this again? Come on. Try to push away. Come on. See, the rafts, I find a little bit hard to deal with. So we're gonna actually probably have to get off of this in order to push it more onwards. I think we're also getting beached due to the waves kind of going on. If you could please stop operating the raft. Let's try to get it out here where there's not so many rocks and stuff, so we can get sailing. But yeah, it's about, you know, surviving, getting out there, finding new things to do, crafting as much as you can to try to survive better, and trying to get to a point where you've got like a bit of a renewable setup, you know what I mean, like just in regards to actually being able to survive with what you have. Come on, stop getting caught on the rocks. I know you can kind of push off that, but I'm still having troubles with the rafting on the controls on this one. Give me a break. Trying to get out of here a bit. I think it's because the waves keep pushing us inwards, but I don't want to be like stranded out on the raft and kind of getting killed by things, if you know what I mean, right? Climb onto the raft. There we go. Now let's head outwards to new lands. But yeah, so it's got some interesting mechanics, some neat gameplay. I think for a kind of niche type audience, this will be something that a lot of people will really enjoy playing. You can spend a number of hours here, whereas like I might find some aspects of this a little bit boring in regards to like trying to get materials that I need, because they're just a little bit tougher, and you actually got to go out and do things, and it can be a little bit slow to find the materials, and then you got to like, it feels like you're constantly having to get food and water, if that makes sense, which is, you know, a part of surviving, but it feels a little bit intensive, if that makes sense, where you gotta really manage that a lot, or get some kind of tools where you can manage that. I do like how accessible certain aspects are, like your watch just clearly telling you, the details. It's like, do I gotta get in the shade? Do I need to eat? Do I need to drink? So forth like that, what my health's at. I think that aspect's kind of cool. And there are a lot of little fun things you can build, a lot of cool little rafting options, neat selection of tools, and better tools that you can craft as time goes on. You get better selections in order to break stuff down. It's neat that you can go to a coconut, kind of break it, grab a crab, kind of skin it, and then cook it. I think that's kind of fun stuff like that. It's got a neat style to it. And it just depends if this is the type of experience that you're looking for, because I think it's something you can spend a number of hours playing, and you can keep kind of going back and trying different challenges with it, because there is that nice option of like, do I want a permadeath? Do I want to be able to save? How hard do I want to make this on myself? And you get those choices, and you can kind of make little selections. I don't know if people are going to need like guide type things on this one, but definitely let me know in that regard, because it'll be neat to kind of show off some of the crafting mechanics. It's just generally nice to see this arrive on the console platform. It all seems to run quite well. It all looks pretty good. You get a good mix of little islands and challenges that you can switch between in order to get different challenges. And there's just quite a lot to do in it if this is the type of survival game that you find intriguing or enticing, whereas other people might look at this and it's just not quite for them, because it is a little bit slow at times, and that kind of makes it a little bit boring. Because I've even felt that where I was crafting and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this takes a while, or sorry, I can't find the materials I need, and I gotta wait for them to come back, and that in itself isn't always the most exciting of times. Anyways, that's Stranded Deep as we gather onto this new island, and hopefully before the sun melts my skin. But it seems like the aloe vera has actually been kind of helping out a little bit. But yeah, Stranded Deep, watch out for sharks, watch out for other monsters, and survive, craft, and escape.